Questa è la visione di una nazione.
And as the soul of humanity, we are one with the universal community, universal council.
La nostra visione del Consiglio universale è che siamo un'anima. E siamo un'anima dell'umanità. E come un'anima dell'umanità siamo uno con la comunità universale. Ok, quindi questa è la visione per una nazione.
As one nation, borders, governments, leaders, does not matter. As the soul of the man is the king and queen of our existence. So the soul is the most important thing. No punishment.
Quindi come Consiglio universale noi diventiamo come un'anima, l'anima dell'umanità.
Encouragement and by elevation. We create the condition for inspiration.
E quindi creiamo condizioni per elevare l'anima, capendo la totalità di questo desiderio. Quindi è molto importante che il Consiglio universale incominci a pensare come un'anima sola. E così si potrà unire all'unità, all'anima della comunità universale. E quindi quando saremo uno con la comunità universale e avremo la pace nel mondo, incominceremo come umanità a condividere il sapere e a elevarci tutti quanti insieme. Adesso passeremo alla prossima slide, la prossima pagina. E qui noi cercheremo di, appunto, invitiamo ancora le persone a entrare nel Consiglio universale o nel Consiglio universale di supporto. E quindi come Consiglio universale noi stiamo diventando bere l'uno con l'altro. E quindi ognuno di noi è un universo di pace e di amore. Quindi per favore fate l'applicazione se la vostra anima si sente pronta di fare questo cammino per partecipare a questa energia universale. E quindi siete molto benvenuti se vi sentite a livello dell'anima pronti per fare l'applicazione per il Consiglio universale di supporto. E questo è il momento per servire. E quindi l'universo ha creato questo duomo, questa cupola di... Quindi appunto è arrivato il momento di anche arrivare a casa, tornare a casa. E quindi questo è un invito. Non c'è proprio bisogno per soffrire più. La vita deve essere, come si può dire, dobbiamo divertirci, non soffrire. Quindi questo è un invito per, appunto, come dicevo prima, per chi vuole far parte come Universal Council e Consiglio universale di supporto anche. La decisione di partecipare sarà presa dalla tua anima.
Happy baby.
E quindi il Consiglio universale rappresenterà ogni lingua e il Consiglio universale di supporto qualsiasi persona può fare l'applicazione per il Consiglio universale di supporto. Adesso, se vedete questo link, quella è l'applicazione. Adesso vi faremo vedere il link dove cliccare per fare l'applicazione. Ecco, questa è la pagina, come potete vedere, del Consiglio universale. Adesso vi faremo vedere l'applicazione. Questa, ecco, questa è l'applicazione che potete fare. Ecco l'applicazione. E questo è ancora l'invito. E se avete domande, per favore alzate la mano così possiamo rispondere. Questo è il link. E qua ci sono le email per il Consiglio universale, poi c'è il link del mandate del Universal Council Chapter, dell'ES EC Constitution, e della mappa di pace. Ok, adesso ci sarà il sottoticino, quindi parlerò io in inglese e lascerò il microfono aperto. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, good evening and good morning, like Mr. Keshe, wherever you are. I'm just going to talk again about the Mojang teaching because, as I said last time, I've been asked from some member of the Universal Council to share this experience that I had in the Mojang project three years ago, I think, roughly. The time goes really fast. So we started to share I started to share the experience last Tuesday, and the reason I agreed to tell about this experience, first of all, because also was one of the wish of Mr. Keshe that as soon we finish the Mojang, we should share the experience we had with the many people we had. And also because, yes, one of our main objective, I mean, definitely is sharing knowledge. So whatever experience I had, I definitely would like to share with as many people as I can. So I don't know if you have a question about last time. For who was not here last Tuesday, I just maybe just recap very quickly what I said last week, and was basically what I said last week. I said that. Mainly, the Mojang project was the first human in space, and Mr. Keshe wanted to find 4 normal people, so no scientists, no doctors, just to prove that if these 4 people could do what the project was meant to do, then it was like a proof that everyone can do it. So the main things happen in the Mojang project was that we started the soul teaching. That was a very good I don't know if I call it a turning point, but very good point, because in the Mojang project, we didn't use any guns. We could use them, but Mr. Keshe was very clear that he wants us to teach how to teach the soul, teaching the soul. So teach us about the soul. So, and because we have guns inside us, we're made of guns. So he said to us that he will teach us the soul teaching. The soul teaching, we needed to use any reactor or any guns. And as I said the last time, we had in this university in Ghana, we had the 2 rooms, one for the theory, one for the soul teaching, and one for the practical. So, and in the practical, we had Armen, Alex, and other good teacher that could talk about the reactor. And then we had the Mr. Keshe in the other room with nothing, just a click, just a the board on the wall where you're writing, and desk where he was taught us about the soul. So so basically it was a very learning experience because first of all, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but no one on us had the paper and pen. We didn't have notebooks, we did nothing. And as I explained last week, we were meeting up every day in the university and study with Mr. Keshe 10 to 5 every day. And then we would have also spend time with him in the evening. And of course, we would have more teaching. And as I explained last week, we at the beginning we had a little bit of headaches. We didn't know what we didn't know if we were good enough for the project. All the doubts, all the insecurity, and try to do the best. A lot of talking, and towards the very end of the project, towards the middle and the end, things start to make sense like a puzzle. Things start to kind of make a little bit more sense. So as Mr. Keshe said many times, sometimes you don't need to understand everything, but if you comprehend, and it's good. I think because he wants us, one thing he told us many times, do not worry if you not understand everything. I'm teaching to your soul, so trust that one day things will make more sense. And in fact, as the time was going through, we start to relax more. We start to assume maybe connect more because we start to get to know each other more. We that become our reality. And somehow it's like if we were making now looking back, it's much easier to. So it's very good to have a stopped and look back and reflect what happened. So if I look back, it felt like without knowing, we were creating condition to make things happen. So matter of fact, as the time was going by, we were more relaxed. We just start to kind of follow the teaching, trust in the teaching of Mr. Keshe, and also put in practice what he was telling to us. And so at the beginning of the Mehran, teaching, as you know, because we done the public teaching afterwards. We start to learn about the soul, where the soul is, how you can connect to the soul, and even those. This maybe happened to you as well. That even those you know the theory or you comprehend the theory, doesn't mean you always are able to do it or to achieve what you want to do. But you trust the process. And as Mr. Keshe said, one day things will make more sense. So he was recommend us to be more connected, don't talk as much, really start to focus on the feelings. I really try to make short, 3 months. The most important was to have a clear vision, have one wish, like I said the last week. So if you had one wish, which would be your wish? And so we all end up to have this one wish of world peace. Start to really feel one of the exercise we were doing. I think I mentioned this as well last week, where we Mr. Keshe make us be in a circle, and then we're supposed to in second understand, know what other person was feeling. If you had a few more minutes to think of, you were already out of the picture. You have to really be connected with your first sensation or feelings. The moment you think, you're already in the next stage. So these and many other things were things we try to practice after each class with Mr. Keshe. Do our best. Sometimes we would not know if we were doing the right things and the wrong things, but we would just connect and get to know each other. And towards the end, to me, this is my impression again of the experience. To me, it was like if we were creating another dimension. Like if what we were doing there, because we were always spending time together, we were away from our normal life, see the teaching every day, 10 to 5. So we were really immersed in the space knowledge. Keshe was teaching us every day how the soul work and how the space, how you should travel into space and how you should make a spacecraft at the soul level. Give us all this knowledge, and that slowly become our reality. And I really felt like the air was different. Something in the air was different. I remember I don't know if I was imagining or not, and things were a little bit different. Things start to happen, like and I don't know if I was making up or was real or not real, but every time we were practicing, even in between us, we start to get less tired, less. We were still eating, even though we were not hungry. It's just like a habit eating, because even though we were not hungry, but because we had really good person who was very good chef, so we were still eating, but we were definitely less hungry as well. So, and things start to, when we're getting together in the evening, things start to be different somehow. Like I start to see more things much easier. Like I about what happened what happened one day. So Mr. Keshe was talking about how the soul, when you're in control of your soul, we should, if someone cut your arm, you should be able to regrow it. Or we were talking about shape shifting, like your soul can change the color of your eyes or hair or change color of the skin. That should be normal when we are directing our life from the soul, and through the soul we can change the physical soul. So and this is like at the beginning, maybe it's like going to the gym at the beginning. Maybe it would be not simple, but that slowly we should be very easy, like a chameleon. We should be all the chameleons. So and you're gonna be able to, for example, in example, when you go into different room, for example, you should change in correlation to the environment you want to go in. So you could go under the water. So many things we should be able to do simpler and easier if we conduct our life from the soul. So enough, every teaching that Mr. Keshe was doing in the morning, then in the evening when we were practice, we things were happening in relation to that. This is what happened to me as my own experience. So so I told you last time when me and another Mojan, we were working in Africa, in Ghana, and then suddenly I just had these things where I thought I understood everything. It was just like a sudden thought, and even now I don't remember what I cannot tell you even what I did understand, but I just remember having the feelings in that moment that everything makes sense. And then when that happened, a few minutes later, what I remember, and I don't do this ever, but I left my hands in front of me, and there was a blue, my arms blue. More, and thank you for last week. You wrote down morphs, so now I remember. So the color of morphs, there is still people with the white hat and the mushroom house. Definitely that intensity of color. So at the beginning, I thought this is not possible. It's like even when things happen to you, you just do not believe in it. Even when a miracle happens in front of you, you just in denial. Sometimes you just don't see it. So I was looking for excuse to understand what happened to my arms, because the color was quite intense. So I thought I put it in my painting, or I just couldn't find an explanation to it. And luckily I was not on my own, so another Mojan was with me, and he could see that. Otherwise I would thought I imagined it. I was questioning what I saw. I would not believe in it at all. And the next day when we saw Mr. Keshe, we asked him what happened there. And I remember the only things he said, because Mr. Keshe doesn't talk much. So you said what happened. He would tell you something in correlation to it, but doesn't mean you will have all the answer. So I remember he said to us, what did you thought just before? And I said, I had this moment where I thought I understood everything, but then the moment and I still don't remember what I understood. And he said that somehow I must have changed the filter of the brain, because if you remember the soul teaching, he will explain the soul inside the brain, and you will explain that the brain is like a lampshade. So if you imagine the lamp is the soul, and the brain is the lampshade. So it's the container, like the filter inside the container, and this is the filter. And this filter, the filtering the rays of the field strands as they come. This is how remember. So as they come into the brain, and brain is like a filter at a certain specific time and point. It's where then you materialize certain part of the body, and it's where the body gets materialized as a physical soul. So somehow I must have altered the filter of the lampshade. So it's like if you make extra or less something thinner lampshade, and you have more of the light of the lamp coming out, so you got more of the soul coming out, and that it's what altered the color of my skin. So he explained, if I remember correctly, because we didn't take any notes ever, that the one of the layer was altered, was take off, if I remember well, and then that's why we're blue in space. We're blue. So this is he explained just this. Didn't go more into, no more, no less. The ironic things was that as I said, things were happening, strange things were happening more often, more frequently towards the middle and the end of the training, when also we give up of trying, or we give up of worrying, because sometimes you worry that you want to do the right things, and and sometimes you try too hard, or you're thinking too much, and these are all things who bring you a little bit away if you want to go close to your soul. And so I'm learning. I'm not saying I found this. Yeah, I'm learning still. Actually a lot. So, but I just talk about for my experience what happened. So I came up to this point last week, telling this story. Is anyone has question about that, or shall I continue? And then we got the question at the end. So I just wait a few minutes to see if Rick see any question now, or maybe I just continues and then we can have question at the end. But this is what we said. Yeah. Hey, sorry, I had low volume. Azar, is you? Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me properly, by the way?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you. I have one question for you.
Yeah.
What was your overall intake about having a direct communication with your soul? What did you gather in your experience, and what you are doing, implementing in your life as your life now?
Okay, the strange things about it that everything is as the same. Like what I understood is, ironically, the more you look for your soul, and somehow the more you don't find, is it's like really it was like a process of letting go and stop trying, and start to have a full trust in the process, not to worry if you don't comprehend, and it was it's like we were creating condition without knowing, even though Mr. Keshe this was teaching us. It was teaching us that if you want to materialize anything, you have to create conditions. This is how the universe works. But we now know we were creating conditions. So the only things I could say was that was our beliefs was the main factors. So the only difference that I can say from there and now, that because there we were just us 24 hours every day, and we were away from the normal life. So that become what was actually our life, and what our life was, it become far away, like no more our life. So slowly, because that became our reality, and we were listening Mr. Keshe every day talking about how the universe works, how the soul works, and every day we were talking between us, and then we were trying to connect between us. So this we were doing these 24 hours a day every day. Then also bring the importance of what Mr. Keshe said, like you have to be in a servant position, you have to be humble. You know, we were talking about all these things that he talks with you every Thursday, no? But somehow there, because it was done every day, all the time, somehow, and we were then couldn't talk about anything anymore between us, so we started to be more connecting. So like, for example, now, the Universal Council, it's becoming one soul. So that means that we are connecting more and more and more. That is our intention. So we make clear our intention. You make clear your wish. You work on your conduct, worked on your behavior. But as this become your life, naturally, all this come into places. And as I said, things will start happening without us doing much, except the things I just told you, connecting, thinking about the wish, the things we're doing, for example, now every time, every Tuesday when we talk about the wish, the 5 pillar, or every Thursday. So we were all on that kind of frame of thinking that things in our mind become normal and real. And somehow I think it's where you're creating condition, you allow. And I really do believe that. I don't know if it's just an imagination, but I really believe that somehow we build up like another dimension. And then that one was becoming home. And we will go back to that place, and that's where things start to happen. So at the beginning, if I think about your question, Azar, about the soul, at the beginning we'll try to understand what the soul was, try to find different exercise, to interpret Keshe in Mr. Keshe in many ways, because as I said, we didn't take any notes, so we were trying to really recap everything he would say to us. But the more effort you put, the more thinking you put, or the frustration, this just take you far away. And as I said, it was the moment when we started giving up, a bit more relaxed, and just listen the teaching. It's when slowly the teaching itself compound together in your mind, and then somehow that become your reality and things start to happen. This, I don't know if this is a simple way, but I cannot even tell what we did or how we did it. I just know that the moment we start to talk less, the moment we start to just being there and just listen, you know, follow the flow of the teaching, things start to happen, and happen in such a way that when I step out from the Mojang and I go back to my normal life, for me it was very, very difficult to integrate back to whatever, you know, I couldn't go to work, couldn't function much afterwards, because I miss it so much. I miss it so much, that state that we were into when we were in the Mojang at the very late state. It was like another atmosphere. Somehow this feel too materials sometimes, but now I think already actually now, where we are right now in this more present time, it reminded me a lot of the Mojang. So I think right now we are creating another dimension as we speak, because now I'm already for a while I start to feel something different, and it reminds me a lot of the Mojang. And I think this lockdown was a little bit like the Mojang. So I think we're doing a Mojang on a big scale, like I said last time. So I already think things start to changing. So we're already creating another dimension already, as if it's already created already. But because there's another things of the Mojang where something was created, and slowly you just realize something was different, something was, I don't know, like now. So like the blue hand, and then another things happened. I remember. Did I answer your question, Azar, or not?
Yes, you did. Yes,
I did.
The only thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
When you say condition, what do you mean by condition?
It's like it's the nature of what you're doing every day. I think it's simple as that. So every day we were really committed. We felt the responsibility because we were part of this project. So definitely don't want to let anyone down. And so we were committed to make it right. So we were giving our best. So I think creating condition, you know, every choice you make can be the simplest one, like Mr. Keshe said one day, you know, can be the simple things where you think, okay, I got this choice today. If I go right or go left, you know, you can ask to yourself which is road your soul serve more. You know, if you're serving yourself only, you know, every choice you make, if you're serving yourself and nobody else, or if you do something for you and others. So simple choice like this you make daily life already, you're creating condition for things to happen in a certain ways. And then I don't know, the fact that we were away from our normal house. I was not going to work 9 to 5, like a little bit now in the lockdown we had, no? So you spend a lot of time where you listen. That's why, like now, Mr. Keshe said to us, going back to the teaching, listen to the teaching. So we're spending every day listening to Mr. Keshe teaching, talk about how the space works, talk about the soul. So that is creating condition, because you spend your time in your day not doing the normal life that you had before and support that everything that I was like before, but suddenly you break the repetition or the habit, and suddenly we were not working 9 to 5, we were listening to Mr. Keshe 9 to 5 and be our 24/7. So it's again, you break the habit of every normal life I had before, and I now spend my day on something, on a new things that is not like before. So in this way, you're creating condition for new things to happen. You start to think out of the box, like Mr. Keshe said last Thursday, with now the new teaching of the new CAPS, we're gonna start to think out the box like you never thought before, and things you never seen will happen. So you definitely, you realizing maybe that you can choose if be the creator or be just part of the creator, no? or be like a victim thinking, like a society, the past society where we were before, no? Where, you know, you're a victim, you know, someone bigger than you, you know, decided for you. Now there is someone directing your life. No, now you are in charge. Now you are responsible. Now you got a white paper, and you can draw. You know, what you want in this paper. Of course, we got. For example, we were in four, so we were co-creating this something together. So, but definitely because we were in a different environment, that's what I mean, creating condition. You break the old way and introduce the new way in your every daily action life. Yeah, do you understand what I mean, creating condition?
Yes, I understood. Kind of like you break the habit of being yourself, and you just allow your soul to shine out. Because I think there is a veil between the physical soul and the soul, and some of us, the veil is much thinner, and some of us has a much thicker veil. And then when we constantly are thinking according to our habits, and we don't allow, not only we don't see what is in front of us, we just don't allow things that is supposed to happen by itself. Like imagine if you're sitting and watching a scenery like a geese or ducks, and then if you're thinking, you don't see the beauty of the ducks or the geese, but then the minute you stop thinking, you see the full-blown beauty. So the whole thing is we don't, because the minute we try to
Praticamente,
actually we kind of interfere with the process, I think. That's what I understood from your explanation. Thank you for that.
yeah, exactly. It was like that. Yes, it's like when you stop trying, stop thinking, stop, and somehow you see the bigger picture. This is it. You don't see the maybe don't. That's why I think, Mr. Keshe, you have to, you know, understand the totality. Of course, it's again, you know, all my interpretation, because I'm learning as much as you. So I think what I found for me was life-changing, the Mehran, because I felt like I never felt before. I see things I never see before. So it will always stays. It mark my life. And I remember at one point in the Mehran where I thought, this is the reality. This is the real. This is the real things. It's the rest that is illusion. Somehow I make and this switch where I really felt really real what we were doing, and the everyday life. It seems like that just feel like kind of illusion or something that was not quite right anymore. But definitely, my point was that you do need to. You cannot sustain your daily routine and pretend the world is going to change. So the change comes when you bring forward what you're doing every day, you do your best, but you start to build something completely different that goes online with your wish, with your. So I think it's that when, last Thursday, Mr. Keshe said, now is important where your action your intention, your feelings, you know, they have to be the same. So that's why we talk so much about the 5 pillars in the Universal Council, because now is a time where by balance the book, by going with your intention, thought and action, all together is where you make things happening, again, creating condition. So again, you know, there we were together, talking every day, doing our best at the physical level, and then intention was there, and then feelings were there, no? So we had all these 3 in line somehow, because things started happening. I remember one day, Mr. Keshe, he talked about how we do not supposed to leave the body behind. Our soul not supposed to leave our physical body behind. We should take everything with us. And he explained how the body should materialize, and you become like a ball of light and go into space, and then come back, materialize again. So like if you go a scale of, so one part of the scale is the, or line, one part of the line is the matter state, and then on the other side, let's say 1 to 10, no? I don't know, I'll make a scale or a line with tick. I don't know how to say it, but in one point you got the matter state, the other point you got the soul state, and you should be able to go backwards and forward in this line. So we should, you know, he said to us, you should be able to go into the bathroom. We're in an hotel, so you should be able to enter the hotel toilet, go into space, come back, and go out to the toilet and go shopping, you know, have the 2 at the same time. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can have the best of both. This, if we learn to work from the soul and directing our life from the soul, and is the soul who make the body, the physical body. So from the soul you can have a quicker, faster change, be like a chameleon. So that night, when we went practice, and Mr. Keshe was said to us to go to also sit in a star formation. He said also was not the case, that there was 1 woman and 3 men. So I remember another time, I remember my experience. I start to see the motion, you know, one arm get transparent and the other arm, then the head. I could see, you know, I don't know if it was my eyes making tricks, but clearly I could see the body, the mouth disappear, the nose disappear, the eyes become one, the body going inside the head and come out. I could see this game of the body get transparent and be sucked into the brain, and then I could see, and I don't know if it was me making it, or I don't know, but the reality was that these things were happening more often, more frequently, and more clear as well, and more fast towards the end. So, and I think this is what will happen to us. This is my assumption of what will happen to us now in this transition that is already started, where things will happen more easier, more clear, more fast, and without us, you know, just trusting the process and have and gain knowledge on the universe, how the universe work. All these things will really come into suddenly and more often, much easier and more clear. This is my, and suddenly you will realize that the change is very, very clear. Until I remember me even walking and thinking the floor was going away out of our feet. That's why I think it was like if we build another dimension between us, and in this place things were happening. And then another time, Mr. Keshe taught us about the spacecraft, that you can make spacecraft with physical spacecraft, or you can make a spacecraft with the soul, as he taught us many times in the public teacher as well. And you can make the spacecraft between 4 people as well. So in our case, we were in 4. And he recommended us, he said to us one day, okay, tomorrow you have to fly. And what happened was that, so we had all this lecture about how you can make a spacecraft with the soul, or between people. And again, because we were not taking notes, I cannot tell you step by step the lecture. The only things I remember, he said to us, stay away from the window when you practice. Go into star formation. And he suggests once to me to be at the top. So we were a different level. You have to be sitting in different level, and you have to have space under your chair. So you cannot be sit straight into the floor. This actually was one of the last days. And by then we did most of the soul teaching. He also went into the breathing exercise. But the funny thing was sometimes he would say to us, no need to practice, because when you have the full trust and the full, you know, when you're ready to let go everything, only then you will have everything. So the moment you're ready to give up everything, in that moment you will have everything. No fear of, it's like people who, for example, he said people who committing suicide, they are kind of in a position where when you reach that point of take off your life, you reach the point literally that you are pretty much in the point where you're ready to give up everything. So not that I want anyone to take off their life, but you know, you have to be like, you have to not have a fear of dying, no fear of dying. And he, for joke, many time he said, I'm like a midwife, where I will help you to. It's like if you want to make us understand that you kind of it's not death. It's actually a birth into new, in another dimension or another life. Or so and he would kind of give us support to make that step. And he also said that once you do the step with no fear, that is the best condition, because if you got fear, you do it once, maybe you will not be able to do it again. But if you got full trust and no fear, then when reach the time that you have to have the full trust of the universe, and there is a moment where there is this step, where you're gonna make this step, go into this other dimension. If you got no fear, then it would be easy to repeat and repeat and repeat until it become daily practice, and will be not something that you will have difficulties to do, but actually you will be daily, where you're going to the soul, then come back physical. You know, you just matter of doing the first step. Yeah. So basically, he taught us that we have to, tomorrow we will have to fly. So he gave us all the direction and how to do it. And I remember that evening, this was one of the last evenings. So by now we had a lot of different experiences that become really reality for us. So we were quiet in the room this very late at night, because by then we're going to bed very late, wake up very early, never been tired. So we were already in a different, little bit like we were in the Congress. I don't know if you're not in the Congress. When we get all together, we got this same kind of feelings where we all together, we sharing, I don't know, I think even in the Congress, we're creating conditions for things to happen, because there, I don't know if you remember, whoever been to a Congress of the Keshe Foundation, you usually sleep very little and you got lots of energy, you're not much hungry, there is these vibes going on. So that was happening the same in the Mojan. And I remember that we were quiet, star formation. I was at the top, so I was on the table, and they were in different chairs, different heights, and I was on the highest. I was on the table, and was like, I remember me start to feeling with the very difficult things. We were quiet, trying not to think about anything, and just be connected. I don't really know how or what. I cannot even put into words how it happened, but I just remember some of us had to make strange noise. And then I remember my heartbeat just changing. I remember, strange enough, a few days before, I had this horrible experience about this animal being slaughtered under my window. And I remember me having this feeling of having enough of the way the world was now. I really thought it was so unnecessary. The suffering was so unnecessary, and I had this voice screaming. So I really was seeking at the time of, I remember me really seeking this peace, this not violence, this. And another things I noticed towards the end, for me, was very difficult to think anything bad, dream anything bad, because, you know, sometimes, you know, when you have sometimes bad dreams, or sometimes you go I don't know, something that it could be not nice. But I remember towards the end, that's why I said to you, I think we created condition already. I could not think anything bad. I just think, I don't know, this it's like if you can just think it's only good. So, and I remember towards the end, I had this really feelings of, I know it's unconditional love, but this is really what the state I was into, because I had enough of the killing, especially here, these animals screaming under my bedroom, you know, happened weeks before. And so I was really in a state where I really just want to have this peace, this love, this, I had enough. I just want to have non-necessity of anyway. So I remember my heart, or even like the first way you fall in love, like this. And I remember my heartbeat was the first things changing. This is what I remember. The heartbeat changing. It was like an engine that's just turned on. And then I remember this, I started to feel this this air, like a current of air or energy coming from the bottom and going up. And then I remember my body got very, very light. My feet start to lifting, my arm lifting, and then I remember suddenly it's like if I lift. So I lift from the table, and then I went sideways, and then fall down in the table again, then lift again from the table. At this point, I was very, very light, my heart, my leg was floating. Only my sitting bones were on the table, and then again lift sideways down, lift sideways down, and at the same time I remember this energy that started coming from underneath and going up, and my head starts spinning like never, like it was out of control, spinning really fast. It nearly looked like I was possessed. So my head started rotating super fast, and then my body started rotating super fast. And I was not me doing it. I don't know what was happening. And then the bit changing. And then I remember me come to a point where I had to let go completely. And that is where I scared. I was really scared, and I block everything. Like I just want to everything stop and go back to control, you know. And I remember, you know, suddenly really try to stop everything. And of course, as I'm doing that, you know, things were stopping until I stopped to spinning. But I was spinning so fast, so it was really like we didn't know what happened. No one had idea. And then the next day we went to Mr. Keshe. We told him what happened. I said, "Did you fly?" I said, "No." And we tell him what happened, that this strange noise were happening with the back of the throat. And we start between us, and from the back of the throat, this noise was happening. And then we thought about me getting lighter and rotating like a, I don't know what to call it in English, but it's the things you put on the floor and rotate, spinning. You have a rope where you make it go fast, and this thing's round spinning on the table. And when it's spinning fast, it's straight. And then as they lose energy, it starts to tilt it. My body was tilting 45 degrees each side and really spinning. And so Mr. Keshe, what he said is because you had fear, you start tilting your body. So the force was coming from underneath. Instead to let it go out of the head, you let it go out from the sides of the body. Because you had fear. But if you would have stayed straight, you know, like in yoga, when you do meditation, they have to be very straight. If my back was straight, this force would have come out of the head. He didn't say what would have happened next. I just remember that before, when it was explained, the evening before, it was explained that one of us would have a lift and make the spacecraft, and the three will make the reactors. So I remember this way. So I don't even remember if I remember correctly. This is the way I remember is explain it. So I don't know if maybe I supposed to be the one who lived, you know. But anyway, my learning experience from this, because I was very disappointed the following days, me to have stopped the whole process, because I don't know what would have next if I don't have stopped it. So I was very disappointed with myself, thinking I was, you know, but one thing I learned from that experience was that you have to have the full trust. You have to have the full trust, because things will happening, and will happen you without knowing, suddenly, much easier than you think. Much easier than you think. Maybe these things are already happening now. I noticed already that since the coronavirus, the pandemic, this, you know, whatever we've been doing together, we intensified our connection between the Keshe Foundation through, you know, the emergency chat, through, you know, we've been trying to give as much as we can to help others who are in difficulties. So already we are connecting with creating conditions more than ever. And the teacher are intensified, like, like we had in the Mojang, if not even more intensified, we've gone beyond the Mojang. And so things will happen in, and so it will be a point where your trust it will come to a point where you'll be faced to yourself if you're faking it or if you're for real, because there is not shortcut, and there is not you cannot fake this. So when the time is come, you will be faced with your level of understanding, exactly like Mr. Keshe said last week. What's stopping you is your level of understanding, nothing else. Because obviously I didn't have the full trust, I had the fear, so my level of understanding was not quite there. And somehow, even though the things were happening, like my hands were blue, and I didn't believe it, and my arms were blue. So again, is your level of understanding that it make you give you the limit how far you can go. That is my learning, and that is the trust, because the trust is connected with your knowledge, with your knowledge, with whatever you learn, whatever you did, whatever you experience. So if you're still attached to your life, you're still attached to everything you have, and the moment you have to let go of everything, you will do not. So that's where it was my biggest learn experience, was that failure. That failure was my bigger learning experience, because I'm always wonder if I had full trust, what would ever happen next. But I always was so grateful, really, like life-changing for me, because now I understand. I think sometime somewhere Mr. Keshe said that the dreams is your soul without your physical body, and that it looks like we were like in the dreams at certain points when certain things were happening. And I have feelings this will happen, where the dreams and the reality become the same. I think that was pretty much what felt a little bit, where I couldn't tell if it was a dream or if it was a reality. That's why I said to you, I couldn't tell. So if no one was present, I would say I just imagined that. Because really there was that fine line between dream and reality was like gone. That's why I'm saying to you, was like we were like a portal. We make like if I have to ever, I don't know what a portal is, but if I have to have a description of a portal or description of making another dimension, for me the Mojang was a little bit like that, because you just couldn't tell anymore if it was dream or reality, and some things look like a dream, and then the dream become reality because it happens so frequently. The actual death become the reality. So I think this is what we are right now, exactly where we are right now, where we don't know if it's a dream or reality what's happening around us. And with the Mr. Keshe, especially now with the matter state and inertia of the last couple of weeks, it's like we're creating, I don't know if it's a portal or another dimension, I don't know how to call it, but it's something that I would, that would be my definition, of portal or bring another, of creating another dimension. Is exactly what we are doing right now, where you cannot tell anymore what is real and what is not, in those terms. When for example, now with the guns, he said, don't focus anymore on the guns as the guns, but start to feel notice the feelings. It would be like when we're in immersion, try to notice the feelings, because you got guns inside you, so you are a reactor. So we're really replicate a bigger margin, I think. And we are so many of us. So we were just in 4, and now I don't know how many. Hundreds of knowledge seekers all over the world. So that's why, we're making the changes we speak. So I think it's very, very important to really work on yourself, because when the time is come, you have to trust. Because we co-creating at the moment. We all together, we're co-creating. So is my understanding, we're creating conditions for creating new life, new will. But this is already happening now. It's just one day you will switch, you will realize we've already done it. So is anyone has any question?
Yes, there are some questions. Barbara asks in the YouTube, this sounds like astral projection or astral travel or an out-of-body experience. Is this the same?
And my problem is I never done astral projection, I never done astral travel, so I will not be able to answer that. I just can say that things were happening very often, and we didn't, took anything, we didn't use anything, we were just 4 of us.
You were
spending
more or less in your body though, right, Stefania? You were, or did you have some out-of-body experiences as well?
Yeah, like as I said, you're right to the point. I mean, I always in my thought, I always was in my body. I never thought I was out of my body. But what happening was that things start to happening. Like I could see these fogs come out people's heads, things that I thought was plasma. Or I remember one time I could feel this barrier, like when they call this plasma barrier. I could touch actually these fogs. Was like something you can actually see. And you could feel you were entering a place with these fogs, this like mist, if everything was more visible, or everything was more happening natural. Like I remember one of the Martian, one arm become transparent, then the other arm, then I could see through his body the sofa on the other side, so I to me, it was real. I just don't know if I was imagining, we were in 4, so I was not on my own, but we all had also different experience between us. So everyone maybe saw lights, we have, each one of us was also experiencing things differently. And certain things we were experienced together. So I just don't know, to put a finger on it, on description what it really was, but it was not the same that my normal life I had before. and when I left the Marjan and I go back in my normal life, I never saw those things again as well. Up to now I have to have certain things that remind me of the Marjan. But again, I don't know. I like, these electric fields in the air. For example, I was feeling these electric fields in the air. I was actually tried to catch it many times, but he was not replying to me. So sometimes I thought, okay, I'm mad. I'm just imagining it, But then when I walked into a health unit, months later after the Marjan, I went to see one of the Marjan, and he had the health unit in the house. And I stepped into to try. The first things when I stepped into the health unit, I remember me thinking, it's like when I was in the Marjan. It's like, felt like, again, being in the environment of the Marjan, So I don't know. It just mean we were then, you know. So all these were just feelings. I'm talking about feelings that compare. So I cannot answer this, Barbara. Yeah, don't know, but was different from normal.
I think that was a good answer. A couple of other quick questions, and maybe we can hear from our special guest that's come in, Mr. Keshe, here as well. Jefferson asked, I think we know the answer to this because you said you didn't use any hands, but he says, Stefania, during your Mojang course, had you used some kind of helmet with GANs for sleeping? Thank you.
Nothing. Yeah, we supposed
You
to.
already have it.
Yeah, exactly. We had everything with us. Yeah, my head was the helmet. Was my helmet.
So I guess, did you think about having a camera set up before you started?
It was really funny because at one point, Mr. Keshe said, we should have recorded this some lecture, and I just don't remember. Maybe the camera. I don't know. But we never end up to record. So, yeah.
And you said you didn't even bring notepads or take notes or anything. So
yeah, we.
Kind of, you just use your own recording apparatus that was your soul, basically, to record.
Yeah, this is it. We just find ourselves with nothing. No one brought anything because we were not really perfect students. I had just had guns only once for a friend of mine had cancer. That's it. I just had previous of that, and even the other module were not at all good student of the sector. We didn't do much practical, all of us. And for some reason, we didn't brought any book notes. And I remember at the beginning a lot of headaches because we were trying to understand. And then, as I said, towards the end, we kind of give up on trying, and things make more sense then. Yeah, but no notebook, not. But you see, now what I remember, I just remember very well. I cannot tell you step by step what Mr. Keshe taught us. I can say that he taught to you afterwards on the soul teaching, so you have the same teaching that we had. But certain things that are like a mark that I will never forget. So, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Stefania, you said your head was spinning or your body was spinning even faster, and I thought of the super literally spinning in the matter state. You were just sort of feeling you were spinning. I mean, your head wasn't going around like
No. I was spinning. I was physically spinning.
Okay.
My head was spinning really fast. My body was spinning. Everything was super spinning. It was not me doing it,
yeah.
For sure.
I thought you were experiencing that like in a dream or a semi-hypnotic state. You were physically spinning.
I just don't know. We were in four, so the only things I can say is that we were in four. I was not my own. So what they see, I see, and I was spinning. Then I cannot put my finger. I cannot define anything. I just can tell you what it felt for, what I experienced, and the spinning was physical. I mean, to me, it looked like if it was physical. So my head was spinning, my body was spinning, everyone was looking at me spinning. And, it's how I get scared.
Well, I'm wondering if Mr. Keshe can add some insight to what was said. Or perhaps the timing's not right now.
I just remember the next day it didn't go into, even the next day it didn't go into. So a lot of things that were happening when the next day we talked to Mr. Keshe. So he doesn't explain everything all the time. So step by step. So he just said to us that the only things I remember, he said, because you had fear, if you would just be straight, it would have come out of your head, this force. But he didn't say what would happen next, you know. So I just said you had fear, and then so you by tilting you allow the force come out, not out of your head, you let it come out of your body. This was the only explanation he said, you know. So, and that for me was the big learning point. And I just, you know, I sharing this experience because, as I said, one person in the Universal Council asked me, she thought it was useful. I didn't know if I mean, I just did it because as we said, we have to spread knowledge, we have to spread our experience. I don't know if this is useful for you or not, but I'm happy to share it. And but what I learned as well, for example, from the teaching of last week, really thinking out the box, and have a full trust and unconditional giving. I mean, I'm still learning for sure, and yeah, so we're all learning, and I hope what I said now, it help you somehow. They definitely helped me, this experience, that everything is possible, that, you know, I remember me thinking, oh my God, all these things I thought were just in the movie, actually really happening. This is real. I remember me thinking, this is real. This is real. This is universal community is real. You know, like where we kind of forced to think that, yes, there are people in the universal community that somehow you see them far, or you see these things, the future. I just remember thinking, no, this is now. This is happening now. This is real. It's not a story. It's not fiction. And then suddenly, the moment I thought, okay, this is not fiction, then what is fiction? Suddenly, the reality was fiction. the life we used to live is fiction. Yeah. If anyone has any question, please do. Otherwise, I'm happy to finish.
Thank you, Stephen. You certainly helped me and jog my memory on certain things and so on. I appreciate your insights there. It's very, very good. There's one last question from James. I'm not clear what he means. He says the Mosan in the Knowledge Seekers workshops are 10 hours long. Is this teaching in them?
I don't know.
It's not clear. Maybe James, if you want to, you can open your microphone there if you want to clarify the question.
Yeah, there is a Mozan section in the public teachings, and there are several of them. I was wondering if the teachings are in there.
I don't know. You mean you mean definitely not me talking for sure. Would be assume would be Mr. Keshe talk about the soul or how the universe work. I share. I think this is the, yeah.
Stefania, I think now the way I see it, the whole planet is in motion.
Exactly, definitely.
I think we have to use this opportunity. We have to use this opportunity because I don't know. I had an experience like somebody walking, you see the building disappears in front of you. You don't know if you're dissolving, you're coming back. So I have experiences like that. I think the whole planet is in motion right now.
Definitely. I think. I mean, this is what I think too. It's my impression as well. Definitely. I think that was a little. I don't know. I think looking back, this is my assumption. Was like that one was a little taste of what we all can do. Definitely much better what we did. But the point was that everyone, the point I think was of the motion that teaching the soul, teaching to everyone, because we're all equal, and we all are guns. We're made of guns, and we all have this capability. So somehow that is preparing. Maybe that one was preparation condition to this. You know, but this is again another assumption. Maybe all the Mr. Keshe teaching are all preparation a condition for what happened, what's gonna happen next. We're all preparing conditions since Mr. Keshe teaching public. Maybe the motion it started when Mr. Keshe started teaching to everyone the very first day. Maybe again my assumption.
Stefania, hi, it's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Thanks for your explanation, Stefania. It's been fascinating listening to you. So how did it feel? You said you felt fear, but how did it feel? Did you feel like you had the ability to go from point A to point B into another place? Did you feel anything other than fear that stopped you, that held you back?
The fact is like also the moment you cannot think like we're talking to you now. You cannot do this. It's like it's like the way I can go closer. It explains exactly when Mr. Keshe said record the feelings of falling in love. I think that is what kick-started. And then what it finished it was me try to be back in control. So start to think, start to be thinking, and it's like was a little bit like a jump in the voids. And I just had this fear of this. I didn't know was, you know, so this is what it makes it stop.
Okay. So what you've described sounds like some of the knowledge has been around for a very long time, like Merkabahs and things like this. Would you say it's that sort of experience that you had?
Sorry, say it again. Sorry.
So in many ancient writings and many things, they call it the Merkabah, where you have two triangles inverted against each other and a sphere around the outside of your body, and your soul traveling in physicality as well, I presume. They call it the Merkabah. Would you say it felt like this?
I don't know. I don't know. No idea. I don't know. I don't know. It was just like I'll explain it. The way I explained it was just trust. If you got no trust, you don't go anywhere. You have to have. You cannot have 99.999% trust. You have to have 100% trust. You cannot have any full trust. So no. So after you can say it.
Unless you're you said you must have trust. You can't have.
You cannot have 99.999% of trust. You have to have 100%. You cannot have any bits of uncertainty.
So to Stefania, what part of you was uncertain about being able to travel? Did you know what it was that held you back, or was you it was just unintentional? It was just in the moment, and you didn't really you weren't aware of what it was.
The only thing I can say is that things are easier than you think, and so you don't realize that that's easy. And then when you realize that that's easy, it's like, oh my God, and then is that I don't know how to explain it, but the closer I can say it, that's why I say trust. It's like exactly what Mr. Keshe said is it. In my, of course, in my experience of, for example, of the module or even the Keshe Foundation, and even though sometimes some of the things maybe they feel like futuristic or far away, or they're not far away. They're here now. They're not tomorrow. They're today. So I think that's why there is a lot work that each one of us need to do. I'm the first one. I'm not. I'm still learning now, big time. So it's like there is a lot of work we have to do as individual, as our own daily things, because then when this change coming, you're kind of ready. You just go more. It's like surfing, no? Surfing. So the universe has got these waves of let's say the universe is an ocean and it's got waves, and you're a surfer, so you know that the waves will come. So you just you have to just kind of be ready to take the wave. The way we come, and you just have to be ready to take the wave as it come, and you know that everything's gonna be fine. Okay, so that is why you have the full trust. So the moment you maybe yes, maybe no, maybe it's like this, maybe it's not like this, or maybe you don't trust yourself, maybe do. When you go uncertainties, when the waves come, you will not be able to take the waves. Maybe you have to wait for the next waves, but that is the feelings.
If it's like real surfing, Stefania, it would be where you just have to go with the flow. So you go with the flow of the fields of the universe, and you take a wave and just let it take you. Just be immersed in that beautiful. I don't even know, it would be a feeling. It'd be a thought. It would be that soul travel, that wonderful moment where you release.
But that comes with full trust and full letting go, because it's like if you're dying, like literally, it's like feelings of not in a bad way. It's not done in a bad way. It's like that feelings of completely let go. So like if you, or maybe let's say you have to jump in a void, or I don't know how to explain. Maybe when you go full trust, it's not even a void anymore. So, but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying is, yeah, that it's what is important. It's important to have this full trust and full letting go. These are the only things I can say. And full unconditional love. Full unconditional love. And there are no tricks, no shortcuts. And if you go not those things in the place, you're not gonna be able to take any waves. It's like it's so precise works, gone to millimeter of timing, and or you take it right to the millimeter seconds, or you just missed the waves, and you have to prepare for the next one.
But Stefania, this is going to be for individuals, and then as you said, groups of 4 can do it, and then also I would imagine that we're talking on a planetary scale, so the whole planet has the chance to evolve. So many beings, many souls are going to experience this. So these teachings, this beautiful knowledge that you're giving away freely now is very, very important to many people to understand, comprehend, and realize what you're trying to explain. You're trying to explain the way you felt it and the way that you your thoughts, if you had thoughts, whatever it was that you experienced, you're trying to very well to explain this to people. But as I said, this will be on a much grander scale throughout humanity. So many people are going to experience this. So it's important that people really listen in a very beautiful way. Thank you, Stefania. It's been wonderful listening to you. Thank you very much.
I just don't want to thank you. But I don't want to take my focus of this is mainly the only reason why I'm sharing this experience for me is actually on the fact that for normal people, no scientists, no scientists, you know, so for normal people, so because we got plasma inside us when we do plasma, so it means everyone has got this. Everyone can do this, and then the next. So I forgot what I want to say, but main things was yes, for normal people. The main reason why I want to share this for normal people, and then also. Creating condition can be simple choice you make daily life on unconditional giving for the goods of all. So you have to keep going into of a picture of every day. You know if what you do is just for you or if for the benefit of others also. You know, so this is what. Create condition on simple choices you make every day. Give your best, you know, clear vision. You have to know which is your intention, which is your vision, which is your wish. All these things, and I think full trust. I think the full trust comes with the conditional giving. The more, that's why I think Mr. Keshe said we're here to serve. When you are unconditional giving, like for example, Mr. Keshe is always available for everyone, anytime, any place, is always ready to help, or like many people of you of the foundation, or many people who are listening now. The people who are in real unconditional giving, they got no fears. So it's very committed to that. So I'm sure that the people who give freely have got no fears. So the way, the level you are, or what happened to you at any point, any time, any space, is always reflecting your understanding, how you dealing with life in daily basis, and what everything happening around you is just a mirror of you. So that for me was the bottom line of the Mojang. So I want to share this with you because, you know, the bottom line was this. So, and the fact that things are not happening tomorrow, but happening right now. Is not future, is now. So, and I'm very, very, very grateful for the last two teaching as well. I mean, as I said, Mr. Keshe changed my life from the moment I met him. And I'm not perfect. I'm learning. You know, like you know, I make mistake every day. You know, so I don't know nothing. So I'm learning. But definitely, what happened is my mind has opened to new possibility and new way of see life, a new way of enjoy life. So for the first time, I'm learning that life can be joined, don't need to be suffer, and I'm happy to have many people that think like this, and together we can make a difference. And the power that we have inside us is enormous. So I'm just learning all this step by step. So I'm maybe lucky on the fact that I experience what experience, but I think you in your own daily life, your daily experience, you had experience same, but sometimes we don't notice, you know, how many miracles happen in front of our eyes and we just don't notice. Yeah, so these main things I want to share that, you know, like Azar said, this is a big motion. We're making the change. Is it possible? It's more easy than you think. Just trust yourself, trust the universe, trust your gut feelings, and just keep going. And of course, talk. Sometime, you know, actually, we start to things start to happen when we stop talking. So I know I have a long way to go, but I think what we're doing, our wish is happening already now. So we have to just trust and just keep going and connecting. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for listening. If anyone has more question, or I'll leave the talk to anyone who would like to talk.
Yes, we had a question from Powell. Let me get it lined up here. Powell asked, did you manage to repeat the same process again?
No, because when I come back, it took me a bit, but I tried to go back to my normal life because I didn't work for a while, and then I had to go back. Because like Mr. Keshe said, you cannot steal from your own self. So you have to create condition even to be able to give. I mean, this is my understanding again. So, and after the motion, definitely, I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to reflect to about whatever happened. And that was really good. I'm really grateful for the coming out and be able to look back and think what, you know, reflect whatever everything was. it didn't happen ever again because I just stepped back to my back life, you know. I'm not, you know, I think I'm always been a little bit a taker than a giver. And, you know, so I think being a full giver, when you give unconditionally, it's a gift that, you know, I'm working on that. So, you know, I think that's why maybe these things never happen again. To be, have a conditional love. And I think maybe we meet up as emotion in the chat and try to be connected. But again, it goes again with your trust, with your giving, with your unconditional giving, with there are a lot of things that are part of the recipe, and I'm working on improve myself. But it actually, maybe I make a mistake to say no, because I think these things happening now. I think since the pandemic, it's where I start to feel like a little bit back in the emotion again. So maybe now is the closest I remember to that. Not at me as a person, but as a global, what's happening in the world as a global, not just me as a person. Because me as a person, I think I got a lot of work to do still. But as global as we are now, it reminds me very much so the emotion. Ok, scusate, sto parlando in inglese non stop. Purtroppo non abbiamo in italiano che ci può tradurre dall'inglese all'italiano, e sto raccontando la mia esperienza of the emotion.
Is this teaching to go and later she says, oh, is this for guiding others who are leaving the body?
I don't know, because this maybe is a question. Maybe Mr. Keshe can answer. I don't know this question. This answer. I don't think we leave the body. I think we just learn to have the full. It's like if you go a washing machine. It's like if you go a washing machine, someone give you half of the instruction how to use it, and now you got the full instruction how to use your washing machine, something like that. So I don't think you leave the body. I mean, this again, my interpretation. You know, maybe I'm completely wrong of what I'm saying, but my interpretation is not leaving the body. It's actually comprehend the bigger picture, and just now you have the knowledge to. So it's like if you go one room. This example, maybe Mr. Keshe or somebody else before, where you got a big house, and up to now they taught you how to use only one room of the house, and suddenly somebody asked to you, no, you don't have only one room. You got the kitchen, you got the living room, you got, I don't know, another room. So you just learn, you got more than one room, and now you can use all the rooms. I say it like this. Ok, sto raccontando appunto la mia esperienza con Imogen e mi stanno facendo domande e risposte.
Hi, Rick. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I think regarding the two level of knowledge here. One knowledge, you do not need the soul to leave the body. You can have everything comes to you. And in another part, it's like the bird, what Mr. Cash speak about, that this bird will learn how to leave his cage and come back to it. So there is two teachings here. I think in the deep space, you need trouble with the soul. In inner space, you don't need to travel because all the information, you just connect to it. So this is my idea.
Thank you, Jalal.
You're welcome.
Stefania, I think one of the things you were saying about just like when we die, like when we, the minute I think tomorrow I'm gonna die, you become relaxed about everything because everything that you think about, it has no meaning anymore. It loses its. I mean, are you going to worry about this and that if you know tomorrow you don't exist? So I think there's two of letting go. In my experience, I could, every time I took to Amazon, I always thought I'm going to go die. And I was up to it. Because I always told God, I'm ready to leave because I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to be here. I don't just want to leave. So every time I get trip, and I just.
C'è Asa che sta parlando. Quando stiamo parlando appunto di Imogen, che devi, quando lasci tutto e quando ricevi tutto, che è un po' come quando le persone che vogliono togliersi la vita, no? Che non hanno attaccature e sono pronti anche a perdere la propria vita e quindi lasci andare completamente.
And then it's getting so huge and just takes you so much within it. And then the minute my mind comes in and says, oh my God, this is so amazing. The minute I do it, I lose it. And then I say, okay, don't think, just be.
Poi sta parlando di come è importante sentire senza pensare. Appena senti, perdi quello che stai sentendo.
You shouldn't utter it, like, it's just feel it without saying anything, just be. Even you can't say be, because the minute the mind comes in and even think something, I lost it. This has happened, this happened to me. So this part of this one of letting go was always hard for me because when I see the beauty, I can't shut my mind not to utter it, not to say so beautiful, because I get there light, it's coming and coming, it becomes so humongous, and I'm just going with it, and just it's so amazing, and just the mind comes in so beautiful, then I lose it. So there's these two things differentiation for me, because letting go and dying for me was very easy. Just even I can do it now. mean, anything I go to my life experience.
Asa sta dicendo che praticamente per lei quello che ho detto gli ha fatto capire due cose, che una è quando il lasciare andare tutto, e quando lasci tutto è quando riceverai tutto, e poi quando appunto non pensi, adesso lo vedo parlare. Thank you, Asa. Yes, I definitely agree with you. And then as you were talking, yes, so the moment you think you kind of lose that state where you are into of feeling, it's like you cannot be in the two at the same time. It is what kind of felt. But also that trust that I didn't have, it comes with unconditional giving. So I think that for me, it's when, you know, we talk about this 5 pillar of conduct. It's like, and this is where I'm working at the moment. I'm not perfect. So it's like, if you are in impeccable conduct and you are truly unconditional giving, that's it. I think then the trust is there automatically, 100%, and you got no fear whatsoever. Because when I mean the few times, or for example, you know, when you fall in love, you know, and that's why I think Mr. Keshe said many times, look for the sensation when you're forced to fall in love. We have to go back to fall in love with everything. Because when you fall in love, it's when you are ready to give up everything for the things you're in love. And that gives you the strength attached to it, and the trust attached to it, that, you know, you're untouchable, nothing can happen to you. You absolutely no fears. So to me, when someone has got fear, when someone is uncertain, you know, that goes at the same level of not being totally in line with you know, with your intention, action, and feelings. Okay, when those things are in line, automatically you got all the ingredients you need. So that's why I'm said before, whatever happened around you is the reflection at where you are, at your level of understanding, or at your level of behavior, or at your level of, you know. So this is what this was my learning from the experience of one of the learning of the Mojang. Then the other learning was also the union make the force. So somehow we all co-creating that environment. It was not just me, it was a co-creation between Keshe, us, everything, even with the KSI. And that is what we've been doing since this knowledge has been started to be shared in the foundation. You slowly you pile up thin lines of knowledge that become strong like a marble, and you're creating conditions for those things to happen. So there are many things parallel happening at the same time. So you got your work you're doing on yourself on a daily basis, from a very simple choice, and you know if it's just for you, or if for not just for you but also for the goods of all. And that already put you in a position that is different in the universe, that we create different things. And then that unconditional love, unconditional giving, that you pile up from simple choice to bigger choice. You know, you have to do your best. So no one wants you to kill yourself or give everything. Because I remember once I kind of stopped. I used to have very good job, and for I don't say big kinds, whatever, but then suddenly I didn't want to do this anymore, and suddenly I kind of put to one side, and for I don't want to do that. I just want to do this, but without knowing, I took off myself that income that then make me struggle, and then so you cannot steal for your own self. This is important. So it's not like you have to give everything you got. You have to learn to love yourself unconditionally first, and then only then you also going to be able to love others. So there is a lot of internal work you have to do, and towards you first of all, and then naturally we become towards other, and then you cannot. There are no shortcuts. So if you cannot love others if you didn't learn to love yourself first. And for me, already this is already lifetime learning. You know, just already this, learn to love yourself in such a way that you can then love others traditionally. That already is all itself is already, you know, big things. You know, so there are so many things, so many facets. Each one of us can work in daily life to create condition in such a way that you got no fear, or you got full trust, and you know, everything is fine, and you got good knowledge, and they're all going together. You know, so this I wanted to share as experience from my experience. Yeah, there is so much to do. And then of course we as meeting up and creating the KSSI, and meeting and sharing knowledge one of other, we co-creating also things together. Yeah, I don't know if you understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania. Returning to the background. It's hard to hear sometimes. So maybe you have a fan or something going there, or something on the microphone. Okay, do we have some other questions? YouTube looks clear there, and live stream. Does the Universal Council have a further presentation there? Or would you like to continue, Stephanie?
This is Marie. We don't have anything more than after the soul teaching. Did you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so Stefania, are you finished, or would you like to?
Yeah, if no one has any more question, and no one want to add anything, we try to keep the teaching to 2 hours, because for the transcribers, and you know, so we try to keep us 2 hours. Yeah, so if no one has any more question, I finished to tell my experience. Yeah. So if you have any question, please ask.
Comment from Mariana. Thank you, Stefania and Rick. It's time for me to join the Keshe Foundation and receive all the teachings. Okay, so that's good.
Ok, we're gonna finish. Stiamo finendo l'insegnamento.
Someone today with your talk, Stefania, and definitely more than one person, but just giving that as an example.
Rick, isn't the
Ok, scusate.
acronym, like there's two terms, Mohan and Mojan.
Ok,
One of them, I think, is named after Mr. Keshe's brother.
so
But one of them is a magnetically originated
c'è
zone
Dak.
for habitation and nutrition, and the other is a man-originated,
C'è
as I understand it. Is
Dak
there
che sta
anyone
facendo
who can clarify something on that one?
una risposta tra Emotion e Moham. I'm not good to clarify this. I don't know if anyone want to clarify the distinction. So, praticamente ho parlato della mia esperienza con i Mojan, di quando le mie braccia sono state blu, di quando ho visto le altre persone del Mojan che si smaterializzavano, di quando ho visto...
Perhaps you could clarify again.
Scusate. Mi sta chiedendo la differenza tra Emojan e...
During the transcribing, there's a page which gives a lot of information from the names and different things like that, but they list the Mojan and the Mohan, I think it is. One is and I'm not sure.
Sta chiedendo la differenza tra Emojan e Moham.
Man-originated zone for habitation and nutrition, or it's a magnetically originated zone for habitation and nutrition, where the other one is just a man-originated habitation and nutrition. I'm not exactly sure. And why was it made this way and so close sounding? Is one the universal unit? If I stump the panelists, which we can't do because Mr. Keshe is here, do I get a prize, Rick?
Yeah, well, you definitely got dead air time here to ponder. We would have to look up on the website. I don't remember the magnetically originated zone habitat, but perhaps that's there somewhere. I'm sure Mr. Keshe could explain better.
Oh, way better.
If he were so present here, he may be busy in the background, I suspect.
The other question that was in the chat, Rick, was somebody said you could, instead of having three other people, would have three plants and yourself. But I was for three stars and yourself to create this condition. But I was thinking the plants have already made an agreement not to leave the planet. So I don't think their soul would be in agreement with that. Just a side.
What if the plants were potted plants, so they could sort of be mobile or happy in their environment as long as they have that pod of soil that reminds them of the planet, perhaps? Well, that's a good question. So the group of four, that was a question from Hassan. So he says, I assume the group of four could be one human and three vertical people, or three stars, for example. So, of course, don't get no say.
Why not?
I just remember it was like for doing the star formation. And I just remember Mr. Keshe said that you have to be in different level and one have to be higher of the whole tree. And then just we are supposed to rotate between us. But one thing is I remember also that make us do as an exercise that you mentioned last Thursday was about, I remember we were in the restaurant, you would put a glass of water in the middle of the table and said, how can you get the water without touching the glass? And we were all stirring the glass. Or how can you, I don't remember if you said, how can you move the glass? I can't remember now. But it reminded me what you taught last Thursday, where you have to be humble enough and you have to be you have to say, how can you please this is the way I understand it. How can you please the glass to, if you know, you want to please the glass and so you are put yourself like in a servant position, but the glass is be pleased to see you pleased, so you will know that you need the water. He will give you give you what you need basically. So that's the way how you can get the water from the essence from the water without touching the water. No, how can you feed yourself, you know, from the fields? So that one. So it's like what he taught yesterday, where the creator make the soul, because this also these things of where the creator, because he give unconditionally, so he created the soul so no, I did come out of my head now, but yeah, so if you are in servant position, you then you can receive, so you have to kind of you know, even when we go to a plant, you go to the plants, you say, how can I serve you, what I can do for you to make you do anything, you know, to make you feel better, or there's anything I can do for you. And then the plants knows that she will be happy to, if you are happy, and it will give you, you know, what you need. So in this way you receive. I remember this exercise was done in the motion. It was made to it a few times. And that it's a little bit at the beginning was I understand it now more and more, because also if you're one, so you're happy to put yourself available to give whatever the plants need, and anyway you're receiving, because the plants gain pleasure on see you better. So this was yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Perhaps we should wrap things up here. If we're not going to hear from Mr. Keshe, and we're complete with
I was saying that thank you, Stefania, for explaining in clarity. And thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody. As we have experienced, as Stefania has experienced the Mojan, we have experienced from everywhere in our condition, a Mojan, you know, as a soul. We have elevated and then muted. As my experience, I have muted the physicality mostly, and then I became quiet. So this was the experience of the Mojan I have in the condition. As Stefania says, she couldn't recognize the blue. I was also recognizing the blue, but then I was not feeling it. But now I can feel, and I also see in clarity. You know, I was a sun gazer from 2012. I started it, and then when I started the sun gazing,
nice way of what she talked and what she the exhibition in Linz in September. As I return to Iran, we want to take with the maglars. They could not see how it's done, and we kept on that track. Once we let the maglar go, a lot of people who were after free energy disappeared with it. But they gained a lot of knowledge amongst them during it. And the Dutch crews were huge and very powerful in this time. In so many ways, in these teachings and workshops, knowledge seekers have to start looking at the fields, not at the system. We've seen it with the French team, which is again come together, and they work in different ways. As the head of the foundation, to bring the German and the French. We saw developments, rapid growth, and people were working together deliberately to keep people working out of the foundation on the different banners. Now we asked them to come together back where they were, even as the head of the foundation says they have two schools of thoughts. We support both. We don't need to destroy. You will see the same support coming back into systematic way as the foundation groups were growing to take the key people out. They were studying the psychology of the key members, and they made an enemy out of them to take them out. And then the whole thing is split. We go back into the French, we go back into the Germans. I've asked the head of the foundation to do this. It's all over splits, deliberate divisions, but also comes from under deliberately. And now we are reinstating everything back in, but in a different way, in a bigger way, in a very equal, balanced way. And as the head of the foundation says, we have to accommodate all views. You will see as the head of foundation way of managing the foundation and the new groups and setting up will emerge gradually. Then you will see the enlargement of one nation, one planet. Continuous division, continuous animosity set up between groups who we could understand the language of is gone. We saw how Portuguese has been brought back in. We'll bring the same thing to the Germans to build strong groups with different point of views, but respect. All the knowledge seekers around the world to be brought back with a new knowledge and technology which is coming up. But through new ways, new technologies. The head of the foundation will release new ways, new restructuring more or less the whole of the Keshe Foundation. In a way it was planned, now it's going to be executed. If you have workshops as a group, languages, if you have teachings as group languages, Thursday morning and Tuesday afternoon teachings will become the focal point for you to come and to report or to promote, to make one. We used
Hello, Mr. Keshe. It's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask a question regarding, once before, you mentioned about being able to speak various different languages or communicate in different languages through the cups. Is this still a possibility? Is this still something that you are going to develop or have developed? Because obviously the language barrier is a big thing for an Englishman who doesn't speak a language.
Yeah, the Englishman is the worst man to learn the language because he thinks everybody speaks English, so he doesn't need to learn much.
It's very true. It's very true. They get lazy, the English, because everybody has spoken English, and that's yeah, that's always been a fault. It's always
the head of the Keshe Foundation in China, Wang Lin, has started the teaching of universal languages in so many ways. As groups in China are taking shape. Some of it sounds funny, but as the head of the foundation, they start breaking through universal languages. They had the second or third session in China last week. They're exploring the understanding of universal language, and the position of it is at its infancy. But initially she used to speak a funny language. Then we understood there's a bigger structure to it, and it can be translated to human language. And universal language is spoken is in a very it sounds very funny, but at the moment they are making all sorts of noises, but to understand in essence what they're talking about. And it's taken its first steps in China. It's the responsibility of Wang Lin for international unification of the community of the foundation, the universal community. And it's very interesting. This part has already started taking shape, and we will bring it out of China once it's developed. It takes a few more months. But it's getting taught amongst the knowledge seekers of China at this moment. Chinese knowledge seekers have taken this step because they understand it. If you hear it, it's very funny, but gradually it changes to the noise and the voice of the soul of the man.
Dipende come capirete.
We will hear it in physicality. We will hear noises. It's not just a tractor or the fields.
Abbassa il volume in inglese. E i giocatori in inglese capiranno perché giochiamo un gioco, ma tutto cambierà. Inizia un cambio. In ultime lezioni ho spiegato a tutti e due capi della fondazione. Uno è aperto come la società e prende una forma diversa. Ultima riunione sabato. Sunday, Monday. Spero che si senta bene. Grazie signor Keshe per le spiegazioni per stasera in la lingua universale. Quello che avete parlato oggi è molto bello. Ci alza per riunirsi con la comunità universale. Sarà bello e affascinante tutte queste lezioni che lei ci regala. Signor Keshe, con piacere la nuova unità che facciamo, se voi capirete e lo costruite in un modo giusto, vi raggiungerà la luce dell'anima. La Fondazione Keshe, il gruppo di ricerca, già hanno fatto le prime sisteme stamattina. Ho guardato, sarà completa questa unità, dove sono le altre parti della lezione complete, o vedrete e vedrai. Anche con le piante, con i sassi, lavorano finalmente è stata assemblata oggi e vedremo la luce della creazione di questo pianeta. Come ho detto, ricercatori di conoscimento guardano la condizione di fisica. E noi quello che facciamo, guardiamo il livello dell'universo. Il primo sistema che sarebbe setato già è grande come questo pianeta. Non insegneremo in pubblico, lasciamo ai ricercatori di capire se stessi da soli. Come interaziona con i campi di questo pianeta, dove voi vi alimentate da soli, dove voi trasferite le comunicazioni e le emozioni per questi. Oggi è stato compiuto. Abbiamo costruito e gradualmente se desiderate, non ho capito bene che ha detto delle coppe. Scusate, signor Keshe. Le conferenze sono aperte, non sono conferenze, dice il signor Keshe, sono piccole esibizioni che permettiamo a un certo numero di persone per giorno, per vedere come fanno questi centri di esibizione. Tutte e due unità saranno là. Vedrete altre cose, saranno là e in tanti modi proviamo di settare questi a quello che chiamiamo come le conferenze o sezioni dei chat tra ricercatori di conoscenze. In un prossimo passo dovete registrarvi con di pagare per coprire le spese e vi daremo il tempo per aspettare per essere là. O a mattino o a sera controlliamo perché siete in governo o che applicano a questo. Ci sarà annunciato giovedì. Ci saranno massimo 15 persone al giorno. Ci sarà interazione e di essere parte al lavoro della fondazione. In un modo noi impariamo todavia come voi come conoscenza. Abbiamo un numero limitato che andremo dal primo giorno e il secondo giorno sarà gli ambasciatori e quelli che sono invitati dai capi degli stati, l'ambasciatore cinese, l'ambasciatore iraniano, un numero di tutti saranno là il primo giorno. Dopo, come ho detto, la dimostrazione Cina, Austria, in Iran per vedere questa tecnologia. Siamo molto aperti, solo che ce l'abbiamo non so quante persone e aspettiamo che arriveranno tanta gente. Siamo in posizione in quel tempo di arrivare con la tecnologia in un modo aperto. Una volta che annunciamo questo, persone dall'Europa ci vorranno di raggiungere là. E il primo ci sarà la restrizione del corona che porteranno una nuova potenza alla fondazione. Per questo facciamo vedere quando quelle 3 unità saranno là. Quando molte persone entreranno là, non ci sarà la ragione di entrare dentro, perché quando vai sulla organizzazione che comprano questi, significa che in tempo di ottobre, novembre, inizierà questi centri. Tutte e 2 unità saranno, ma non è solo per vedere come ti senti dentro. Grazie per la spiegazione, signor Keshe. La situazione con per le persone che vengono dentro, per sperimentare i campi. Signor Keshe, proviamo di creare le condizioni per entrare le persone, per vedere, per capire, per osservare queste operazioni. Qualcuno nasconderanno le tecnologie di queste unità e sono le unità di medio, ci saranno quelli di energia, saranno quelli di materializzazione. Vediamo quello che ci succederà, vediamo in pubblico da qualsiasi parte in fondazione. Non rilasciamo in pubblico, non ci sarà rilasciato in pubblico. Noi abbiamo dato aperto, ma le persone non hanno capito, mai non hanno capito. Grazie signor Keshe. In un modo o l'altro sì, tutti capiremo. Come voi che siete, quando siete stati l'anno scorso, come la battita del cuore, la vera battita del cuore, del modo quale opera questa unità di medio. Il vero Magrav, la unità Magrav, c'è in livello plasmatico. non guardiamo la corrente materiale in stato di plasma, corrente di plasma. Cioè creiamo tutti voi quelli che capirete la verità dell'universo, l'anima del sistema. Permetteremo, da qualsiasi parte saremo, perderemo per vedere le altre parti dalla lezione, per vedere anche diciamo, la nave spaziale di volo, modo di volo. Grazie signor Keshe, è stato molto di noi, vi seguono in lezioni e qualcuno no. E per questo anticipiamo, perché cerchiamo per interazionare con l'anima questa bella. Grazie, grazie molto, grazie. Parla più rapido questo ragazzo. Boh. Ci sarà annunciato dentro la lezione e capirete come usiamo questo in modo totalmente differito di quello che voi avete immaginato, e ci sarà differenti disagi, in modo che sarà diffonditi le insegnazioni. Altre domande? Chiede il signor Keshe. Rick, ce l'abbiamo una domanda in YouTube. Se qualcuno lavora in Messico con questa... Sì, dice Don Kes. E rispondo che sono molto in Messico. Sono tanti in Messico. Ce l'abbiamo in Tijuana e per adesso, per il momento, ci sta con il corona. La stessa cosa con il Brasile, ma c'hanno un'altra direzione in interazioni, in lezioni con le comunità, con le persone. In Messico ha preso un'altra direzione riguarda ricerca di conoscenza, di conoscimento, sapienza. Messico è dove è un centro in Tijuana, dove sta, mi sa, che dopo da Gapa. Questo è da me. Potete, dopo come ho detto per adesso, in Tijuana, con come chiamiamo la nazione messicana, sono la stessa situazione. C'hanno i tempi duri. Rick, ce l'abbiamo un'altra domanda in YouTube. Potete confermare che questa unità può produrre loro, signor Keshe dice la prossima domanda. Altra domanda. Signor Keshe, soy Dean, le persone messicane o l'ospitalità e l'accoglienza di queste persone non mi sorprende. Ci sentiamo così benvenuti perché sono presi da perché c'è differenza, perché devono soffrire queste persone se hanno un'anima libera. Tutti siamo belli, ma tutti siamo toccati da questa, dice il signor Keshe. Adesso è perché è un uccigascio silenzioso, questo virus. Passate in qualsiasi città e vedete i segni di questo. Adesso iniziamo a vivere con lui. In un modo ammazzerà qualcuno di noi, ma in generale molto delle persone cominciano a imparare a vivere con lui. State attenti per non prenderlo, per non avere da fare, ma se andate vedrete molti di questi ospedali sono pieni di pazienti corona, ma hanno nomi differenti nomi. I numeri non contano più, maggior parte di noi siamo infettati. Gli animali, le piante, gli uomini, e si estende da solo e per una periodo di più anni, 10 anni o qualcosa del genere. Il Brasile, l'Iran, gli ospedali di Iran sono pieni di questi. Non c'è più posto. Il minuto in quale l'equipa Keshe, quando si svuota un letto, il prossimo sarà pieno, e c'è pieno. Vediamo la implicazione in Iran perché sono aperti con noi, abbiamo visto per la prima volta. Le persone sono in ospedale, noi capiscono, noi capiremo, noi capimo di quello che si... Il resto sono più o meno, ma sarà lo stesso con quello che abbiamo visto in Iran. Implicamo i guns con i risultati molto buoni, vediamo la riduzione del numero di casi, casistica. In tempo che noi parliamo sono tanti gruppi di iraniani che fanno questo lavoro. Ci ho guardato e ho visto come differenti gruppi lavorano in questo modo, in questa maniera. Abbiamo in comune tanti anche fuori, ma l'Iran è un esempio molto buono. Non è che le persone che non sono là, loro ci sono, ma danno una mano di aiuto, hanno aiuto da questi gruppi. In Iran è molto intenso, corona e nella vera essenza prende una forma, cioè prende tutto l'Iran. Iran non può fare solo come una nazione. Non ho capito bene le ultime parole. Signor Keshe, questa comunità universale che avete parlato il numero 4, che loro sono presenti, sempre presenti. C'è un virus particolare che li affettano a loro? Questi... Che vuoi dire? Chiede il signor Keshe. Cioè, le anime della comunità universale sono affettati dal virus o con la conoscenza che hanno e capiscono l'universo, non c'hanno problemi con questo virus. Loro sì, lo so che noi ce l'abbiamo. Volevo spiegare che per capire meglio, cioè, loro vengono, signor Chiesa ha chiesto se noi veniamo là o loro. Noi tutti siamo affettati e loro non sono immuni a questo, ma loro lo sanno come gestire questa cosa, come manipolare l'energia e come si possono aprire all'umanità, perché loro hanno capito da molto tempo questo. Comunità universale non insegna niente all'umanità. Loro vengono e voi vedete le dischi volanti che vengono, vadono, è qualcosa che è molto interessante, ma non è stato capito e sono tra di noi, come tu vai a una fiesta, quando tu sei con i abiti dei farsi, se guardi, non lo so quanti anni fa, succhiano la vita in secondi, cose del genere. Non capisco bene, ma- Oh, signor Keshe, la ultima sentenza è stata molto... Noi non capiamo il knowledge, la sapienza. Quando andiamo in comunità universale, in un ciclo che diciamo noi un giorno, ci saranno milioni di anni per gli uomini, cioè non sarà che ci sarai più veloce o no. Gradualmente vedrete che c'è una nuova struttura che prenderà forma. È questo che noi impariamo molto veloce. Grazie per questa meravigliosa, bella conversazione. C'è brillante questa conversazione regarding questa situazione e questa condizione di questo medio della pianeta e quello quello che sviluppiamo noi. È iniziato per molto di noi e per questo vi ringrazio, dice Dean. Con piacere, dice il signor Keshe. Rick, ce l'abbiamo le persone con la mano alzata. Mark, c'è una domanda. Buongiorno signor Keshe. Qual è la situazione cambierà con il Ministero della Salute? Noi abbiamo passato di questo già, della situazione del Ministro della Salute, della Sanità. Abbiamo superato questo. Fanno parte in un modo diverso, a alla difesa, alla parte della religione, dobbiamo portarla, non abbiamo potuto da fare con il primo ministro e il ministero, non con il governo, con i capi di Stato, perché abbiamo una soluzione come la fondazione già iniziato. Dobbiamo proteggere i ricercatori di riconoscimento di Iran per prendere dai mani del ministro. Da, presto cambierà. Noi ci guardiamo, abbiamo guardato, passano a questo processo in questo paese. Noi entriamo in un altro, loro sono messi in una posizione in diversi canali, in diversi processi, diciamo, procedimenti. Loro sono posizionati, cioè non noi come fondazione. Rick, ce l'abbiamo una domanda da Ike. Ike Bullet. Buongiorno signor Keshe. C'ho mi ricordo quando abbiamo parlato del numero dei giorni di 1000 giorni c'è una lezione a quello che avete detto e quello che ci andrà. Ti posso fare qual è la situazione in California? Chiede il signor Keshe. C'è ancora non va bene. Maggior parte dei governi gli uffici sono chiusi. La media e piccole aziende, quelle che hanno un affare, si prova di tenere aperti, ma sono molto che sono chiusi. Non c'è niente di stabile. Torniamo alla normalità. Non totalmente. un minuto e studenti sono affettati, ci provo di aprire le scuole, i distretti sulla strada, c'è molta confusione. C'è tanta confusione, dice Ike. Arrivati al punto in quale non si può fermare questa panica, che è stadio di panica, noi proviamo di cercare di trovare che alcuni sono molti danni permanenti e alcuni danni si possono recuperare. Dopo, come avevamo detto, c'è bisogno in tempo di questa tecnologia, di nuova tecnologia, per cambiare la situazione. Altro punto chiede il signor Keshe? Che è interessante per noi, per vedere come il Consiglio universale inizia a prendere forma, come l'ethos di settimana scorsa inizia a prendere forma, non sono solo le parole. Per un poco di secondi per coprire il tempo. Ha iniziato a strutturarsi in un modo intorno agli insegnamenti della fondazione, e voi capirete. Lavora con l'alma, con l'anima, che può esistere in un'altra dimensione, ma con ambe dimensioni. Le nuove insegnamenti e sapienze, l'esistenza, e questa è la parte più difficile per l'umanità, di lavorare in ambe le dimensioni, perché in un modo vedete la bellezza dell'anima, ma dall'altra parte sono occupati per vedere anche dell'universo. Questo è il punto in quale molto di voi troverete dei problemi, e molte persone avranno problemi, hanno problemi per andare in anima, ma non rimanere in fisicalità. Ma questo è il lavoro nostro, quello che facciamo per andare in tutti e due. Se lavorate tra anima, capirete il lavoro, vedrete le cose minunate e le belle, vedete l'evoluzione anche dentro la fondazione. Quelli che si chiamano che sono pari, sono lasciati, crescono in un'altra direzione, vado dall'altra parte e c'è una evoluzione. Noi ci vedremo la nuova profondità della conoscenza, della sapienza, per l'anima dell'uomo, per capire, sentire con le emozioni dell'universo. E abbiamo iniziato con un paio di settimane fa in delle lezioni. Quando venite vedrete la prima interazione tra corpo dell'uomo. Sentirete, sarete parte di questo. Primo passo, dopo come ho detto, è completo oggi, sarà rivelato. Davvero sentirete come voi diventate parte di questo sistema. Vi diamo una chance per vedere come reazionate, come interazionate con questo. Vi diamo una, diciamo, probabilità. Vi diamo fiducia per fare questo, per vedere come interazionate, come reazionate. Ancora mi cerco le parole perché non riesco a... Mi sono scordato come si parla in italiano. Perdonate, scusate. Per fortuna che il signor Keshe parla anche con l'anima, non so con le parole. Grazie per oggi, dice il signor Keshe. Spero, mi auguro, che si sta partendo a insegnare le anime con facilità, cioè partiamo piano piano. Grazie signor Keshe, dice Rick. Ce l'abbiamo quasi 4 ore. Ok. Grazie. Ci vediamo giovedì e iniziate queste sezioni o lezioni e la fondazione vi aiuterà. Cioè, esplicate un po' di questo, dice Rick, riguardo alle lezioni in background? Sì, noi abbiamo visto che ci sono lezioni riguardo Magrav, riguardo l'energia libera, vogliamo vedere riguardo all'energia del corona, per vediamo come si fa le coppe della vita. È molto importante per adesso, per il momento. E queste lezioni devono, non per il free energy, che per la free life, vita libera. È questo che vuole andare con i workshop o con le lezioni per salvare le vite, non per prendere 100 euro per fare le Magrav che nessuno non li capiscono. Le vere Magrav, dove la plasma technology sono usate in unità del medio e le abbiamo utilizzate le vere. E quelli che lavorano e cercano l'energia, cioè power supply, o le unità delle potenza, ci sono incastrate dentro questo che ho detto, per sapere come si usa per Corona e quanto questa è la vera, e non per fare i soldi, è per salvare le vite, per fare le coppe. Grazie, grazie, dice il signor Keshe. Enrico, grazie signor Keshe. Grazie ai membri del Consiglio Universale per la presentazione di oggi e per tutti per le domande e commentari. C'è stato 130 incontro di una pianeta, una nazione, una razza, da 11 agosto 2020. Ci sarà Plasma Reactor Group domani, dalle 7 ora Italia, e le persone possono, se hanno le dispositivi, possono fare domande, commentari e interazionare con il Plasma Reactor Group. Grazie, credo che questo è per adesso. Grazie a tutti. Ciao per adesso. Enrico, e chiude. Oh ragazzi, spero che ho fatto quello che ho potuto. È difficile un po' ricordarmi parlare in italiano perché non ho parlato da un bel pezzo di tempo. Mi dispiace, chiedo scusa. Lisa, puoi concludere, puoi chiudere la riunione, se vuoi, o almeno la registrazione.
Ok, Dan, grazie.
Di nulla, faccio quello che posso. Mi dispiace che Stefania ha avuto, tanto ancora si ricorda. Chiude la registrazione casomai. Recording. C'hai 3 puntini.